A very happy Independence Day to all our viewers. Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour, India celebrates 79th Independence Day. PM Modi in his Red Fort address praises valor of Indian armed forces in Operation Sindoor, says India has punished enemies beyond imagination. PM Modi says India is building a modern ecosystem in every sector, making the nation self-reliant to fulfill the vision of Viksit Bharat. The high-stakes summit meeting between Trump and Putin to take place in Alaska later today. Trump says Ukraine would be involved in any deal on its fate. Spain suffers third wildfire death. Greece beats back flames. EU working non-stop to support wildfire-affected countries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hoisted the tricolour at Red Fort as the nation marked the celebration of 79th Independence Day. Flying officer Rashika Sharma assisted the Prime Minister in hoisting the flag, after which flower petals were showered from two Mi-17 helicopters of the Indian Air Force, one carrying the national flag and the other Operation Sindoor flag. Wing Commander Vinay Punia and Wing Commander Aditya Jaiswal piloted the aircraft. PM Modi was received at the Red Fort by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, MOS Sanjay Seth and the chiefs of three services. Prime Minister also received the ceremonial guard of honour by the National Flag Guard, the Indian Air Force, Army, Navy and Delhi Police, totalling up to 128 people. Wing Commander Arun Nagar led the Inter-Services Guard of Honour. A total of 2,500 cadets from the Army, Navy and Air Force along with My Bharat volunteers were seated on Gyanpath opposite the rampart, forming the Naya Bharat logo. Praising the success of Indian armed forces in Operation Sindoor from the ramparts of Red Fort, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India has punished enemies beyond imagination. He was addressing the nation on the 79th Independence Day.
मुझे बहुत गर्व हो रहा है आज मुझे लाल किले की प्राचीर से ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के वीर जाबाजों को सैल्यूट करने का अवसर मिला है। हमारे वीर जाबाज सैनिकों ने दुश्मनों को उनकी कल्पना से परे सजा दी है। और इस अपील को पहलगाम में सीमा पार से आतंकियों ने आकर के जिस प्रकार का कत्ले आम किया, धर्म पूछ करके लोगों को मारा गया, पत्नी के सामने पति को गोलियां दी, बच्चों के सामने अपने पिता को मौत के घाट उतार दिया गया। पूरा हिंदुस्तान आक्रोश से भरा हुआ था। पूरा विश्व भी इस प्रकार से संहार से चौंक गया था। मेरे प्यारे देशवासी, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर उसी आक्रोश की अभिव्यक्ति है। 22 तारीख के बाद हमने हमारे सेना को खुली छूट दे दी। रणनीति वो तय करे, लक्ष्य वो तय करे, समय भी वो चुने और हमारी सेना ने वो करके दिखाया जो कई दशकों तक कभी हुआ नहीं था। सैकड़ों किलोमीटर दुश्मन की धरती पर घुस करके आतंकी इमारतों को खंडहर बना दिया। पाकिस्तान की नींद अभी भी उड़ी हुई है। पाकिस्तान में हुई तबाही इतनी बड़ी है कि रोज नए नए खुलासे हो रहे हैं, नई नई जानकारियां आ रही हैं।
Prime Minister gave his 12th Independence Day address to the nation on Friday. During his address, the Prime Minister hailed the abrogation of Article 370, saying how the mantra of one nation, one constitution was accepted. He said India will not differentiate between terrorists and those supporting them.
हमारा देश कई दशकों से आतंक को झेलता आया हुआ, देश के सीने को छलनी कर दिया गया है। अब हमने एक न्यू नॉर्मल प्रस्थापित किया। आतंक को और आतंकी को पालने पोसने वालों को, आतंकियों को ताकत देने वालों को अब हम अलग अलग नहीं मानेंगे। वो मानवता के समान दुश्मन है, उनके बीच कोई फर्क नहीं है। अब भारत ने तय कर लिया है कि न्यूक्लियर की धमकियों को अब हम सहने वाले नहीं हैं। न्यूक्लियर ब्लैकमेल लंबे अरसे से चलाया, अब वो ब्लैकमेल नहीं सहा जाएगा। आगे भी अगर दुश्मनों ने ये कोशिश जारी रखी, हमारी सेना तय करेगी, सेना की शर्तों पर, सेना जो समय निर्धारित करे उस समय पर, सेना जो तौर तरीके तय करे उस तौर तरीके से, सेना जो लक्ष्य तय करे उस लक्ष्य को अब हम अमल में ला करके रहने वाले हैं। हम मुंह तोड़ जवाब देंगे।
On the Indus Waters Treaty, PM Modi said it had caused enormous harm to agriculture in India. He said the attack in Pahalgam underscored the futility of continuing the agreement. He said India has now decided that blood and water will not flow together.
भारत ने तय कर लिया है, खून और पानी एक साथ नहीं बहेंगे। अब देशवासियों को भली भांति पता चला है कि सिंधु का समझौता कितना अन्यायपूर्ण है, कितना एक तरफा है। भारत से निकलती नदियों का पानी दुश्मनों के खेत को सींच रहा है और मेरे देश के किसान, मेरे देश की धरती पानी के बिना प्यासी है। ये ऐसा समझौता था इसलिए पिछले 7 दशक से मेरे देश के किसानों का अकल्पनीय नुकसान किया है। अब हिंदुस्तान के हक का जो पानी है उस पर अधिकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ हिंदुस्तान का है, हिंदुस्तान के किसानों का है। किसान हित में, राष्ट्र हित में ये समझौता हमें मंजूर नहीं है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi promised a big Diwali gift in the form of next generation GST reforms. While announcing National Critical Mission, he said self-reliance in critical minerals is essential, highlighting the importance of Atmanirbhar Bharat. PM Modi said a nation's true pride lies in self-reliance, and that is the foundation of Viksit Bharat.
आत्मनिर्भरता का नाता सिर्फ आयात और निर्यात, रुपये, पैसे, पाउंड, डॉलर यहां तक सीमित नहीं है। इतना सीमित अर्थ उसका नहीं है। आत्मनिर्भरता का नाता हमारे सामर्थ्य से जुड़ा हुआ, और जब आत्मनिर्भरता खत्म होने लगती है तो सामर्थ्य भी निरंतर क्षीण होता जाता है। और इसलिए हमारे सामर्थ्य को बचाए रखने, बनाए रखने और बढ़ाए रखने के लिए आत्मनिर्भर होना बहुत अनिवार्य है। साथियों, हमने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में देखा है मेड इन इंडिया की कमाल क्या थी। दुश्मन को पता तक न चला कि कौन से शस्त्रास्त्र है, ये कौन सा सामर्थ्य है जो पलक भर में उनको नष्ट कर रहा है। सोचिए, अगर हम आत्मनिर्भर होते, न होते, तो क्या ऑपरेशन सिंदूर इतनी त्वरित गति से हम कर पाते? पता नहीं कौन सप्लाई देगा, नहीं देगा, साजो सामान मिलेगा, नहीं मिलेगा, इसी की चिंता बनी रहती। लेकिन हमें मेड इन इंडिया की शक्ति हमारे हाथ में थी, सेना के हाथ में थी। इसलिए बिना चिंता, बिना रुकावट, बिना हिचकिचाहट हमारी सेना अपना पराक्रम करती रही।
PM Modi also announced Pradhan Mantri Viksit Bharat Rozgar Yojana. He also said 6 semiconductor units are already on the ground and 4 new units have been given the green signal.
21वीं सदी टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन सेंचुरी है। हम जब टेक्नोलॉजी के अलग अलग आयामों की बात करते हैं तो मैं आपका ध्यान आकर्षित करता हूं सेमीकंडक्टर्स पे। उदाहरण के तौर पे बताता हूं, 50-60 साल पहले सेमीकंडक्टर को लेकर के फाइलें शुरू हुई। 50-60 साल पहले फैक्ट्री का विचार चालू हुआ। आप मेरे नौजवानों जान करके हैरान हो जाएंगे, आज सेमीकंडक्टर जो पूरी दुनिया की एक ताकत बन गया है, 50-60 साल पहले वो विचार, वो फाइलें अटक गई, लटक गई, अटक गई। सेमीकंडक्टर के विचार की ही भ्रूण हत्या हो गई। 50-60 साल गवा दी। हमारे बाद कई देश सेमीकंडक्टर में आज महारत हासिल करके दुनिया में अपनी ताकत को प्रस्थापित कर।
Praising how every Indian is carrying the tricolor with them today, PM Modi mentioned that over 140 crore Indians are carrying the colors of tricolor.
बजट का बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा ये पेट्रोल, डीजल, गैस, इन सब को लाने के लिए खर्च होता था। लाखों करोड़ रुपए चले जाते थे। अगर हम ऊर्जा में डिपेंडेंट न होते तो वो धन मेरे देश के नौजवानों के भविष्य के लिए काम आता। वो धन मेरे देश के गरीबों को गरीबी के खिलाफ लड़ाई लड़ने में काम आता। वो धन मेरे देश के किसानों के कल्याण में काम आता। वो धन मेरे देश के गांव की परिस्थिति को पलटने के लिए काम आता। लेकिन हमें विदेशों को देना पड़ रहा। अब हम आत्मनिर्भर बनने की दिशा में काम कर रहे हैं। देश को विकसित बनाने के लिए हम अब समुद्र मंथन की तरफ भी जा रहे हैं। हमारे समुद्र के मंथन को आगे बढ़ाते हुए हम समुद्र के भीतर के तेल के भंडार, गैस के भंडार, उसको खोजने की दिशा में एक मिशन मोड में काम करना चाहते हैं। और इसलिए भारत ने नेशनल डीप वाटर एक्सप्लोरेशन मिशन शुरू करने जा रहा है।
Earlier, Prime Minister visited Rajghat in the national capital and paid tribute to Mahatma Gandhi. This year's Independence Day theme is Naya Bharat, reflecting the government's vision of achieving Viksit Bharat by 2047. All right, and Prafula Ketkar, editor, he's joining us live on the broadcast. Hello, sir, a very good morning. A very warm welcome to the broadcast here. You know, Prime Minister said a lot of things today, you know, how India is walking on a path to progress and also aligning with the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. He also said that blood and water cannot flow together. How do you see everything what Prime Minister has said today in his speech?
See that broadly, if we see this speech can be seen in three parts.
Okay.
First, he spoke about the past, the way we gained our independence, the way we adopted our constitution, the people from Mahatma Gandhi to Shama Prasad Mukherjee contributed, the constitution makers, he paid tribute to them. Then he spoke about the the journey of the last 78 years and the way we have achieved certain important pedestals in this journey of independent India. Then in the second part, he spoke about the contemporary challenges and the way responding to it. And the theme of that entire narration was woven around Operation Sindoor and the concept of Atmanirbharta. So he spoke about the self-reliance in defense and manufacturing, then the space mission, then the critical minerals, then energy security, food security. The way we are marching in the our desired goals of renewable energy, even nuclear energy. So all these things, he mentioned step by step. And then in the last part, he spoke about the future course, where he made certain important announcements, starting with GST and the special, program for youth. But more importantly, he said all the sectors, all the sections of the society, all people, including the opposition parties, they have to come together and achieve this goal of Viksit Bharat based on self-reliance. So Atmanirbhar Bharat, Samartha Bharat, Samruddha Bharat. So his overall theme was from independence, that is Swatantrata, what he called in Hindi, to Samruddha Bharat, that is the prosperous India. So independent India to prosperous India by 2047, that was the broad theme of his speech today. And the important, the theme around which, or the mantra, I should say, was Atmanirbharta. Swadeshi and Atmanirbharta was a clear focus of his Independence Day speech today.
Definitely. Sir, also in fact, Honorable President as well yesterday said that Operation Sindoor will go down in history as an example of humanity's fight against terrorism, and it has created, in fact, no doubt, it has created a huge impact on the global world, and it has also showed India's stance when it comes to terrorism. India has said and still says that enough is enough. We will not tolerate terrorism at any cost and will give it back. And of course, the Made in India weapons are being widely appreciated throughout the world. And in fact, the nations are in fact looking at India to strike a deal when it comes to weapons. So indigenous weapons have also created a great impact which, is being hailed by Prime Minister and Honorable President time and again.
Oh, certainly. Siddharth, please try and understand, we have made a doctrinal shift. And that doctrinal shift is backed by the policy shift. Earlier, we were known to be the net importer of defense technology and weapons from outside. Now we are already exporting and aiming higher exports when it comes to defense production. So 200 smaller but important materials we are already exporting. Our satellites, our defense technology is in high demand. So that clearly shows that we have proven our mettle when it comes to and as Prime Minister rightly said, organizations like DRDO and ISRO has played a very, very important role in achieving these objectives. So what has happened because of Operation Sindoor? One, we have clearly shown that we have a capability and technology to strike the enemy territory without crossing the border. So that the precision technology, that is one proven fact we have now. Two, as Prime Minister rightly said, nuclear blackmail is no longer going to work.
Indeed.
Whatever may be the claims by the US or any other power, nuclear blackmail is not going to work now. That is a clear message. And thirdly, as we have changed and the cabinet has approved the doctrine, Prime Minister also reiterated today that any act of terror will be considered as an act of war. So we are now not differentiating between the terrorists and terror sponsors.
Correct.
We are treating them equally. That is a major doctrinal shift, and that is how Operation Sindoor is a message, a very, very strong message to the entire world.
Definitely. And India, in fact, yesterday, sir, issued a stern warning to Pakistan that any misadventure will result in painful consequences and consequences beyond imagination as well. And there have been some other important announcements that Prime Minister Narendra Modi from the ramparts of Red Fort today made, including Mission Sudarshan Chakra. And like you also mentioned, that categorically he said that India will not tolerate any nuclear blackmail now. We'll leave it there, sir. Thank you so much for coming on to this broadcast. Thank you. Indian ministers extended greetings on the 79th Independence Day. On social media platform X, India's Home Minister Amit Shah posted, "Heartfelt congratulations to all countrymen on Independence Day. I pay homage to the freedom fighters who sacrificed everything in the independence movement. I also salute the brave soldiers who worked tirelessly for the unity, integrity and pride of the nation. Let us all come together to fulfill the dreams of the immortal martyrs of the freedom struggle and resolve to contribute our utmost to building a developed, self-reliant and exemplary India in every field." India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also wished the people of India greetings to all fellow Indians on our Independence Day. This day is not just a celebration of our freedom, but a sacred remembrance of the courage, sacrifice and supreme selflessness of countless heroes who gave us the honor of free India. Let us take inspiration from their ideals and work together to build a strong, secure and prosperous Viksit Bharat. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in his wishes said, "Heartfelt greetings to all countrymen on Independence Day. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Happy Independence Day." Minister for Information and Broadcasting and Railways Ashwini Vaishnav also wished countrymen on Independence Day. The Chief of the Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, shared a message and paid homage to the freedom fighters who sacrificed their life for the independence movement. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh lauded Operation Sindoor as a symbol of India's balanced military response in an era of global asymmetric warfare. in a Sandesh to soldiers aired from Akashvani on Thursday ahead of India's 79th Independence Day, Minister Singh highlighted India's actions during the operation as a shining example of a precise and successful military strategy and a glimpse of a new vision, technological advancements and self-reliance. He said that India successfully utilized cutting-edge apparatus and proved that India is no longer dependent on foreign technology. Minister Singh spoke about a balanced strategy adopted during Operation Sindoor. He said that within a few minutes, 9 terror training camps, including the headquarters of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, were destroyed by precise missile attacks. On the proud occasion of 79th Independence Day on Friday, India's minister hoisted national flag at their residence. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh hoisted the national flag at his residence in Delhi. Union Minister Manohar Lal Khattar hoisted the national flag at his residence in Delhi. On the occasion of Independence Day, Union Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan hoisted the flag at his Delhi residence and wished the countrymen a happy Independence Day. Chief Minister of Central State of Madhya Pradesh, Dr. Mohan Yadav, also hoisted the national flag at the BJP office. Chief Minister of Northern State of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, hoisted the national flag at his residence in Lucknow to mark 79th Independence Day. Northern State of Rajasthan's Chief Minister Bhajan Lal Sharma hoisted the national flag on Independence Day. Chief Minister of Northern State of Haryana, Nayab Singh Saini, hoisted the national flag. Northern State of Uttarakhand's CM Pushkar Singh Dhami also hoisted the tricolour on 79th Independence Day. 79th Independence Day was also celebrated in eastern state of Bihar, where CM Nitish Kumar hoisted the tricolour. North-eastern state of Tripura, CM Manik Saha hoisted the national flag on Independence Day. The 79th Independence Day of India was celebrated by the High Commission of India in Bangladesh on Friday. A large number of Indian community members took part in the celebration at the Chancery building in Dhaka. Artists of the Indira Gandhi Cultural Centre and members of the Indian community sang patriotic songs on the occasion. High Commissioner Pranay Verma hoisted the national flag and read out excerpts from the President's address to the nation. This year, the Independence Day celebrations marked India's 78th year of independence, and the celebrations were held with great fervour. The Assistant High Commission of India in Sylhet, Khulna, Chattogram and Rajshahi also celebrated the Independence Day. World's biggest Indian flag to soar over Johannesburg, South Africa on 15th of August 2025. A historic and monumental event will be observed. The world's largest Indian flag will fly Johannesburg, South Africa on 15th of August. A flag measuring 26 meters in height and 39 meters in length, flown by helicopter for 2.5 hours over the city. This event is a powerful symbol of India's unity and pride for Indians living in South Africa. The national flag of India, the tricolour, is primarily crafted by women in the state of Karnataka. This unit is the only one authorized to manufacture and supply the Indian national flag. A predominantly female workforce is involved in the process, from weaving the khadi cloth to stitching and printing the flag. Let's listen to this report.
It's really not just a cloth which we wear or which we use for other purpose. No, it is not actually what it is. It is something which everybody respect for it.
हमारा कंट्री का जो ये फ्लैग है वो राष्ट्रपति भवन सब लोग सैल्यूट करता है।
कभी किधर भी हम तिरंगा देखे तो हम करते ना, ये ध्वज हम बनाते ना।
हमारे यहाँ पे ब्यूरो इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड के हिसाब से 9 साइजेस का फ्लैग बनाते हैं हम लोग, और हमारा रेशियो है 2:3। 1 फीट चौड़ाई रहे तो 1.5 लंबाई रहता है। उसी के हिसाब से हम लोग नेशनल फ्लैग बनाते हैं। हमारा कपड़ा तो यहाँ गद्दिन केरीग्राम है, वहाँ तुलसीगेरी, जालीहाड़ा, बेलूर करके सेंटर है, वहाँ से कपड़ा बन के गुड़ाउन को आ जाता है। यहाँ से मैं ऑरेंज ग्रीन कटिंग करती हूँ, वाइट कटिंग करके यहाँ अशोक चक्र प्रिंटिंग के लिए दे देती हूँ। बाद में हम लोग स्टिचिंग के लिए लेते हैं, वहाँ ऑरेंज ग्रीन कटिंग करते हैं, कोरा डक कट करते हैं, वहाँ से वहाँ पीस वर्क के हिसाब से वहाँ फ्लैग सीते हैं। लेडीज़ लोग ही करते हैं, कटिंग हो या प्रिंटिंग हो, स्टिचिंग हो, आयरनिंग हो, सब लेडीज़ लोग ही करते हैं, महिला लोग ही है।
ये नेशनल फ्लैग बनाने में इतना क्रिटिकल है, प्रॉब्लम्स है, वो सबको हम सॉल्व करके, हमारा औरत लोग बहुत मेहनत करके ये काम पूजनीय काम समझ के कर रहा है।
यूथ्स अपने देश के लिए क्या कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं? When it comes to me, I am preparing the national flag, which makes me feel very proud.
पता नहीं, वो एक भगवान जैसा हम मानते हैं उसको। तिरंगा बोले तो हमारा देश भारत माता जैसा लगता है वो।
हम कितना आज थक के रहते हैं, सुबह क्यों हुआ, काम को नहीं जाना, काम छोड़ देना, ऐसा लगता है, फिर भी हम नेशनल फ्लैग बना रहे हैं। उठ के जाना, कितना भी तकलीफ हुआ तो भी हम उठ को काम को आते हैं।
This is a small little contribution that I am doing for my nation.
सब काम करने को मिलता है, लेकिन ये काम करने से हमारा पुण्य का काम है।
अगली जन्म में मुझे यही काम करने के लिए अवसर मिला है तो मैं यही काम करती हूँ।
Indeed, a proud moment. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Jal Jeevan Mission, a flagship initiative of the Modi government aimed at ensuring safe and adequate drinking water to every rural household in India, which completes 6 years on 15th of August 2025. Here's a report. Have a look.
Launched with the vision of providing water to every rural home, Har Ghar Jal Abhiyan marks a significant leap towards water security and improved health standards across the nation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasized that access to clean drinking water is not only a basic necessity but a transformative step in improving quality of life, especially for women and children who earlier travelled long distances to fetch water. The scheme promotes community participation, water conservation, and sustainable infrastructure to maintain drinking water supply in villages. The government has also announced special funding support to states and union territories to expedite the work. Since its inception, the Jal Jeevan Mission has connected millions of households, and with launch of Har Ghar Jal Abhiyan, the government aims to reach the last mile, fulfilling its commitment of Nal Se Jal, water from tap for every home. With Har Ghar Jal Abhiyan, the government not only addresses a basic human need but also builds a foundation for a healthier and more empowered rural India. Kriti Vadhera's report for DD India.
As India celebrates 79th Independence Day, we get you special report on the youth of India who stand as a testimony to the developmental progress that India is witnessing.
युवा वहीं पर आगे बढ़ते हैं जहां ऑप्टिमिज्म, अपॉर्चुनिटीज और ओपननेस होती है।
India has the largest youth population in the world, with about 65% of its people under the age of 35. The government regards this as a pivotal opportunity to accelerate the nation's development and achieve long-term strategic growth. If we talk about the schemes and initiatives for Young India, major reforms and expansion of institutions like IITs, IIMs, and AIIMS show the government's strong commitment to providing quality and future-ready education for all. Number of higher education institutions witnesses a remarkable 13.8% increase, rising from 51,534 in 2014-15 to an impressive 70,683 as of May 2025. Since 2014, the number of AIIMS institutions have increased from 7 to 23, effectively tripling. Additionally, the number of medical colleges has surged from 387 to 2,045, offering over 1.9 lakh medical seats as of 2024. Now, 14,500 schools are to be upgraded under PM Shri Yojana. Over 1.63 crore youth trained in diverse skill areas since 2015 under PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana. These initiatives have significantly contributed to youth empowerment, skill development, sports promotion, environmental conservation, and nation building. And today's youth stand as a testimony to these developments.
We have launched the Chandrayaan-3 mission to the moon and the Aditya L1 mission to the sun. So we are tracing everything from sun to the moon in this new era of India.
I believe the digital connect and that the youth today is very connected and is working hard towards the development of the country. I surely believe that the digital revolution will make India great.
Under this government, NEP National Education Policy that has been launched and started in 2020 is one of the best things that students believe that okay, we are going according to our own interest.
The government is also focusing on areas like the Northeast to empower the youth.
I am from Arunachal Pradesh. I have come to Delhi all the way. So what happened in my state was there was no airplane. So after coming to Delhi, just after 2 years, there was airport. I came by train.
Women represent a strong segment of the society that today feels safe and empowered.
There is a lot of campaigns which is started by our current government like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and there is so much other campaigns and schemes also.
With all these efforts, India is turning its young population into a driving force for a strong and developed India.
79th Independence Day is not just a moment to celebrate for every citizen of India, but also a great moment for every youth of the country who's getting a new opportunity in this new India. With camera person Rahul Chopra, this is Deepika reporting from Rashtrapati Bhavan, New Delhi, celebrating the 79th Independence Day.
On this very day, we are also celebrating a stellar milestone in our nation's journey to the stars. On August 15, 1969, the Indian Space Research Organisation, ISRO, was born. Founded by visionary scientist Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, ISRO has transformed India into a global space powerhouse. Here's a special package on its remarkable legacy.
Born on the same day as India's freedom, ISRO embodies the spirit of self-reliance and innovation. Under scientist Vikram Sarabhai's guidance, it started humbly in a church building, focusing on using space tech for national development. From launching India's first satellite Aryabhat in the year 1975 to the cost-effective Mars Orbiter mission in the year 2014, ISRO has achieved feats that stunned the world. In the year 1975, Aryabhat, India's first satellite, was launched into orbit. In the year 1980, SLV-3 successfully placed Rohini RS-1, marking India's indigenous launch capability. In 2008, Chandrayaan-1 confirmed water on the moon with its Moon Impact Probe. In 2013, Mangalyaan made India first to succeed in maiden Mars mission. In 2017, PSLV C-37 set world record by launching 104 satellites in one mission. And in 2019, Chandrayaan-2 orbiter delivered high-resolution lunar data despite lander setback. ISRO has signed cooperative agreements with 61 countries and 5 multilateral bodies for space-related activities. Recently, in collaboration with NASA and Axiom Space, ISRO sent Indian astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla to the International Space Station on Axiom Mission 4 in June this year. This marked India's first astronaut mission to the ISS, fulfilling a commitment between Prime Minister Modi and US government, advancing scientific research and strengthening Indo-US space cooperation.
भारत दुनिया के लिए स्पेस की नई संभावनाओं के द्वार खोलने जा रहा है। अब भारत सिर्फ उड़ान नहीं भरेगा, भविष्य में नई उड़ानों के लिए मंच तैयार करेगा।
ये पूरी जर्नी जो है, ये अंतरिक्ष तक आने की और यहाँ ट्रेनिंग की और यहाँ तक पहुँचने की, इसमें बहुत कुछ सीखा है प्रधानमंत्री जी मैंने। लेकिन यहाँ पहुँचने के बाद मुझे पर्सनल एकम्प्लिशमेंट तो एक है ही, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं मुझे ये लगता है कि ये हमारे देश के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा कलेक्टिव अचीवमेंट है। और मैं हर एक बच्चे को जो ये देख रहा है, हर एक युवा को जो ये देख रहा है, एक मैसेज देना चाहता हूँ, और वो ये है कि अगर आप कोशिश करते हैं और आप अपना भविष्य बनाते हैं अच्छे से, तो आपका भविष्य अच्छा बनेगा और हमारे देश का भविष्य अच्छा बनेगा। और केवल एक बात अपने मन में रखिए, दैट स्काई इज नेवर द लिमिट, ना आपके लिए, ना मेरे लिए और ना भारत के लिए।
Meanwhile, ISRO's frugal engineering has launched over 100 satellites, aiding agriculture, disaster management, and communication. With private sector involvement, India's space economy is booming, aiming for a $44 billion valuation by 2033. Today, ISRO's horizons include the groundbreaking NISAR mission, small satellite launchers like SSLV, reusable launch vehicle development, and ambitious educational outreach initiatives like Yuvika, sparking space enthusiasm among India's youth. As India's 56-year space odyssey continues, ISRO's legacy remains rooted in its founding belief: space technology in the service of humankind. Happy Foundation Day, ISRO. May you keep charting new realms, inspiring millions, and expanding the frontiers of our cosmic journey.
And still to come on the Indian News Hour. The Japanese economy posted modest growth in the second quarter. Peru's Deputy Foreign Minister Felix Denegri Poza condemns remarks by Colombian President Gustavo Petro.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. Moving on to international updates now. Finally, there is going to be a meeting between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday. The anticipation over the outcome is quite high. Will it be a repeat of Zelensky-Trump Oval Row or actually a warm handshaking? As Trump insisted that he would not be intimidated by Russian leader Vladimir Putin on the eve of high-stakes summit, and said Ukraine would be involved in any deal on its fate. Putin flies to Alaska on Friday at the invitation of Trump in his first visit to a Western country since its conflict with Ukraine in 2022 that has killed tens of thousands of people. As Russia made gains on the battlefield, the Kremlin said the two presidents plan to meet one-on-one, heightening fears of European leaders that Putin will cajole Trump into a settlement imposed on Ukraine. Though Trump promised not to finalize any deal with Putin and said he hoped to hold a three-way summit with Zelensky possibly immediately afterward in Alaska. Germany has strongly objected to an Israeli plan to build thousands of new homes in the West Bank, calling on the government to stop settlement construction in the Palestinian territory. Berlin strongly rejects the Israeli government's announcements on thousands of new settlements in the Israeli-occupied areas of the West Bank. Earlier, Israel's finance minister backed plans on Thursday to build 3,400 homes in a particularly contentious area of occupied West Bank. The United Nations chief warned that building Israeli homes in the area would put an end to hopes for a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Israel has long had ambitions to build on the sensitive parcel of land east of Jerusalem known as E1, but the plan has been frozen for decades amid international opposition. Meanwhile, European Union's top diplomat has also urged Israel on Thursday to desist from a plan to build homes in West Bank. EU diplomat Kaja Kallas said the decision of Israeli authorities to advance the E1 settlement plan further undermines the two-state solution while being a breach of international law. The Japanese economy posted modest growth in the second quarter despite painful US tariffs. According to a preliminary estimate, GDP in the world's number 4 economy expanded by 0.3% in the 3 months to June. The Cabinet Office data also saw a revision upwards for its reading for the previous quarter to show an expansion of 0.1%. On an analyzed basis, Japan's GDP grew 1%, beating market forecasts of 0.4%. The new figures are a fillip for PM Ishiba, whose future has been uncertain since the disastrous upper house elections in July. Pentagon announced on Thursday that all 800 National Guard troops who were ordered to the U.S. capital Washington to aid law enforcement personnel by President Donald Trump have now been mobilized. Trump ordered the deployment as part of what he billed as a crackdown on crime in Washington, where violent offenses are in fact down. Pentagon Press Secretary Kingsley Wilson said that the force will assist the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department and federal law enforcement partners with monument security, community safety patrols, protecting federal facilities and officers and traffic control posts. The National Guard will not arrest, search or direct law enforcement, but they have the authority to temporarily detain individuals to prevent imminent harm. Spain on Thursday mourned its third wildfire death this week, and Greece began beating back a blaze threatening its third largest city as an unrelenting heat wave stoked tinderbox conditions in southern Europe. The European Union said it was working non-stop to support countries battling wildfires raging across European countries. The assistance comes as the country recorded one of the longest heat waves since records began. They have raised about 148,000 hectares in the country this year, the second biggest area since 2006. Spanish authorities said one person battling flames in the northwestern Castilla and Leon region had died, taking the toll to 3 after earlier reporting fatalities there and near Madrid this week. Extreme summer heat, which scientists said human-driven climate change is exacerbating, has fueled blazes across the region, including Greece, Portugal, Spain and the Balkans. Greece, which has also requested EU assistance against wildfires, gained ground against major blaze that had closed in on the western port city of Patras. Firefighters there faced scattered pockets of flames, but the fire was still active in the eastern outskirts of the city of 250,000 people, fire brigade spokesman said. A wildfire burning through central Portugal lit up the night sky in hues of orange and red. So far this year, about 52,000 hectares of Portugal's total area have burned, exceeding the 2006 to 2024 average for the same period by about 10,000 hectares, according to the European Forest Fire Information System. Anti-government demonstrators vandalized the offices of the ruling Serbian Progressive Party in the northern city of Novi Sad on Thursday. Dozens of anti-government protesters smashed the windows of the party's office, threw out in fact furniture and SNS paraphernalia, and splashed paint across the entrance. Police later cordoned off several blocks in Novi Sad's city centre and used tear gas to disperse the crowd. While in the capital, Belgrade, other protesters engaged in clashes with police and SNS supporters as they threw flares and firecrackers at each other on one of the city's main boulevards. Police deployed tear gas to disperse the crowd and clear the area. Protests in Serbia continue over a fatal station collapse, with calls for early elections amid corruption allegations. The closing submissions in a national security trial against Hong Kong pro-democracy businessman Jimmy Lai were delayed on Friday after his lawyer stated he had suffered heart palpitations. Lai's lawyer told the court he had felt close to collapsing and was following a specialist's recommendations. The arrangements were still underway. The closing submissions will resume on 18th of August with medical support and equipment ready for Lai before the hearing restarts. Lai has pleaded not guilty to 2 charges of conspiracy to collude with foreign forces and a charge of conspiracy to publish seditious material. Earlier on Thursday, US President Donald Trump said that he would do everything to save him. A Brazilian Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes has asked for a trial date to be set for former President Jair Bolsonaro. Moraes, who is overseeing the case at which Bolsonaro is accused of plotting a coup, sent the request to Justice Cristiano Zanin, though Bolsonaro denies the accusations. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump criticized Brazil's trade policies and treatment of former President Bolsonaro.
Brazil has some very bad laws happening where they took a president and they put him in jail, or they're trying to jail him. And I happen to know the man, and I will tell you, I'm pretty good at people. I think he's an honest man. I think what they've done, this is really a political execution that they're trying to do with Bolsonaro.
Whereas Brazilian Congressman Eduardo Bolsonaro, the son of former President Jair Bolsonaro, while in an interview given to a news agency, said that he expects additional US sanctions against Brazilian officials and possibly more tariffs due to a legal crackdown on his father.
If I do believe that some sanctions, more sanctions are coming against Brazilian authorities, yes, I do believe, because Alexandre de Moraes is still doubling down. The last thing that he did is put Jair Bolsonaro under Rome arrest, house arrest. And President Trump is saying that it's very bad, it's very ugly, all the lawfare that Jair Bolsonaro, his family, and his supporters are suffering in Brazil.
And on the occasion of 79th Independence Day, sand artist and Padma Shri awardee Sudarshan Patnaik unveiled a stunning sand sculpture at Puri Beach. The 8-foot-high sculpture bore the powerful message, Bharat Mata Ki Jai, paying homage to India's armed forces. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.